Got a new chair in this joint. It's feeling good. I had this chair before. Oh, you don't care? Well, you gonna care today. I got this chair right here. This shit was cooked. Look at the armrest that has one mat, and one not. But now this joint, adjustable on it. You feel me? Even got a leg joint that comes out. It's lit in this joint. But look at this video right here. We have new footage of 6ix9ine before his girlfriend's murder. That changes everything. I haven't watched the video yet at all whatsoever, so we're gonna give it a look for the first time together. But the title in itself is crazy. Rest in peace to his girlfriend. I don't know what was going on in New York, but New York is crazy, and I'm pretty sure it's only getting crazier by the day.
Cold and the streets buzzing. Now fresh footage just dropped showing 6ix9ine right before it all went down.
Man, oh yeah, that homie, I don't give a who I'm talking about. All them
Talking about?
you
What you
ain't
talking
get that
about?
homie.
Word on the street is that his comments may have triggered the ops and prompted the hit. Let's break it down. The footage that's changing everything. What went down on August 17th, 2025 was some next level tragedy that had the whole hip hop community shook to its core. When the sun was barely peeking over the concrete jungle, Ariela La Langosta, a 29-year-old Dominican baddie who was making moves as an influencer and bartender, was found slumped in her whip on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon. The circumstances around her death left everyone scratching their heads, but what really had people talking was her connection to one of the most polarizing figures in rap, Tekashi 6ix9ine, and how his moves may have set the stage for her murder. Real talk. To understand how deep this situation goes, we gotta break down who Ariela really was in these streets. This wasn't just some regular chick posting selfies for likes. Shorty was a whole vibe in New York's nightlife scene, with over 551,000 followers on the gram and 115,000 on TikTok. She had built her brand through that charismatic energy, dance content, and modeling that had in their feelings. But beyond all the social media flex, Ariela was plugged into the same nightlife ecosystem where rappers, hustlers, and social media stars all move in the same circles, creating that dangerous mix of clout, cash, and potential drama. Working behind the bar at spots like Icon New York and Starlets of New York, Ariela wasn't no stranger to the glitz, glamour, and all the beef that comes with New York's elite party scene. The places she went weren't just any regular clubs. They were the type of establishments where celebrities, influencers, and street dudes cross paths, creating that volatile mix of fame, money, and potential static that can turn deadly real quick. The night before everything went left tells a story that hits different when you know how it ends. On August 16th, 2025, Ariela was posting stories on her IG showing her turning up at Icon New York, the same spot where she was getting her bread. The videos and flicks showed a female living her best life, laughing, dancing, looking like she ain't have a care in the world. She had no way of knowing these would be some of her last posts, capturing the final moments before her. Life got cut short in the most tragic way. But here's where this whole situation gets real spicy, leaving investigators, fans, and haters all trying to piece together what really happened. To understand the complexity of what we're dealing with, we need to peep 6ix9ine's track record when it comes to working with the feds, a pattern that becomes crucial when we analyze how he responded to Ariela getting murked.
Bro,
Not surprised.
told on his girl, bro.
Not surprised.
6ix9ine just about to tell on anybody, huh?
Man, come on.
This clip from a No Jumper segment shows you exactly how this moves. His immediate willingness to cooperate with 12, even when it's about people he's supposed to be tight with. The host's reaction tells you everything you need to know about how the culture sees this behavior. Even 6ix9ine said it himself.
What's your definition of a snitch? Let's start there.
A snitch is somebody, I feel like a snitch will do anything to get out of a situation. You know what I'm trying to say? Like a snitch will get faced with something and will just give up their mother, their brother, everybody, their whole camp just to be free.
This pattern of snitching goes way beyond just romantic relationships, as you can see from 6ix9ine's whole approach to dealing with law enforcement. Several videos have highlighted how the streets perceive 6ix9ine's willingness to give information to the authorities, which becomes real important when you start examining theories about why Ariela might have caught them bullets. The relationship between Ariela and Tekashi 6ix9ine has become the main focus of all this speculation, and for good reason, my guy. The nature of their connection remains one of the most debated parts of this whole situation, with different sources giving giving conflicting stories that range from them being romantically involved to just being close friends. Several sources are saying Ariela was 6ix9ine's girl, suggesting they had something romantic going on, while other reports say 6ix9ine was calling Ariela his sister, emphasizing more of a platonic but deep personal bond. The confusion ain't accidental. It reflects the complex, often secretive nature of relationships in 6ix9ine's circle, where publicly acknowledging someone can be as dangerous as it is revealing. What we know for sure is that their connection went way beyond just a casual friendship. Ariela appeared in the music video for 6ix9ine's track Wapai, a collaboration with Angel Dior, Lanier, and Boulan 47. This wasn't just some quick cameo. Her role in the video highlighted her charisma and stage presence, marking a significant public moment that tied her directly to 6ix9ine's music world. Even more telling was their 2023 appearance together at the Toboga Room in New York, an event that showed their shared involvement in the city's nightlife scene. This public appearance suggested a relationship where they were comfortable being seen together, yet private enough to avoid the kind of scrutiny that usually follows 6ix9ine's personal life. The timing of Ariela's death becomes even more significant when you consider 6ix9ine's legal situation in 2025. This wasn't the same 6ix9ine who had been dominating headlines in previous years with his wild public appearances and social media antics. By 2025, he was operating under some seriously restricted circumstances that would have made any public appearances with Ariela increasingly rare and potentially risky as hell. 6ix9ine was under strict probation following a 45-day stint in federal custody in late 2024 for violating supervised release. His probation terms included house arrest with electronic monitoring, a ban on international travel, and requirements to follow strict legal and behavioral conditions. Additionally, in July 2025, he pleaded guilty to drug charges after a March 2025 raid on his Florida crib uncovered MDMA, cocaine, and other substances. He was waiting for sentencing in September 2025, which further restricted his ability to make public appearances. These legal constraints paint a picture of a dude whose movements were heavy.
Wasn't in September 2025. Maybe like 2024 or 2023.
Monitored and restricted, making any involvement in New York's nightlife scene not just unlikely, but potentially catastrophic for his legal standing. Yet somehow, Ariela's death has become linked to his controversial past and all the enemies he made during his transformation from street-affiliated rapper to federal informant. In some previously unreleased footage, 6ix9ine breaks down his mindset when he decided to cooperate.
What I fold on though?
When you took the stand, or when you testified?
What I fold on?
When you snitched.
All right, so let me ask you something. If you was in that position, what you would have done?
For me, you gotta understand.
I don't answer the question.
I would never tell.
All right, so this is what I'm saying. If you was in that position, you would have did that time?
This clip shows 6ix9ine's defensive stance about his cooperation with authorities, but more importantly, it reveals his willingness to challenge others about what they would have done in his situation. This mentality becomes crucial when examining whether his association with Ariela could have put her in harm's way. The transformation of Daniel Hernandez into Tekashi 6ix9ine and eventually into a federal cooperating witness is a story that's been told mad times, but its relevance to Ariela's death can't be understated. 6ix9ine's history as a federal informant and his ongoing threats, including a fake casket delivered to his Florida crib in February 2025 bearing the name of rival King Von, have fueled speculation that Ariela's death was retaliatory. But here's where this story becomes truly complex and where new information has emerged that changes everything we thought we knew about this case. The speculation surrounding Ariela's death isn't just about her connection to 6ix9ine. It's about a whole web of relationships, rivalries, and potential motives that extend far beyond a single romantic connection. Several interviews and comments made by 6ix9ine have revealed a pattern of behavior that suggests his cooperation with authorities wasn't a one-time decision made under extreme pressure, but rather a consistent approach to dealing with legal troubles. This pattern has serious implications for understanding how his enemies might view anyone in his inner circle, including Ariela. As the boys in blue work to piece together the circumstances surrounding Ariela La Langosta's death, a complex narrative began to emerge, one that went way beyond a simple case of mistaken identity or random violence in the hood. Let's break it down. The hood gossip and street theories. The speculation that has surrounded this case reads like some real-life street drama, with multiple theories competing for attention, each one carrying its own set of implications for understanding what really went down on that tragic August morning. To understand the complexity of these theories, we need to first examine 6ix9ine's own perspective on violence in the streets and how he justifies his survival tactics. In some revealing footage, 6ix9ine breaks down his philosophy about street violence and why he believes his approach is superior to the keep it real mentality that has gotten other rappers bodied.
Let me ask you something, and like I said, my respect to the West Coast. You never lacking, right?
Never.
So what happened to the niggas that lack? Let's bring up Nipsey Hussle. You think he said, yo, will never come up to me because I'm... Yo, bro, it happened to the best of them.
Yes.
Hold on.
You're absolutely right.
Hold on. So what you gonna say, Nipsey? Huh?
This cold-blooded analysis reveals 6ix9ine's belief that his willingness to use any means necessary to survive, including working with the feds, makes him smarter than the real street figures who ended up in body bags. The most prevalent theory that's been circulating through social media, hip-hop blogs, and international news outlets centers around the idea that Ariela got caught in the crossfire, with the real target being her alleged boyfriend, Nada Cartier. According to these reports, Nada Cartier is described as a suspected gang.
I would not have expected that to be her man. 6ix9ine and him is just like, yo, like two. He don't even look like he in America. Oh, he in DR. See, she got a Dominican man. Cause I know she Dominican.
Boyfriend, Nada Cartier. According to these reports, Nada Cartier is described as a suspected gang leader with a history of criminal activity, including robbery operations known in street slang as Jolopiar. The details surrounding this theory are both specific and disturbing as hell. Reports suggest that she was bodied while driving a Mercedes G-Wagon, with Nada Cartier present but unharmed. Even more concerning are claims that she had sold out Colombians for him to rob, leading to retaliation. If this is true, this would transform the narrative from a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time to one of active participation in criminal activities that ultimately led to her getting smoked. Police confirmed detaining someone for questioning post-incident, with multiple sources identifying this person as Cartier. His background, which reportedly includes prior arrests and irregular entry into the United States, adds credibility to the theory that he was the intended target of what appears to have been a carefully planned hit. Now here's the thing, Nada Cartier's connection introduces another layer of complexity that has been largely overlooked in mainstream coverage of this case. If Ariela was indeed messing with both 6ix9ine and Cartier, it raises questions about the nature of these relationships and whether they overlapped in ways that could have made her a target for multiple reasons. The second major theory that has gained traction, particularly in hip-hop media circles, focuses on 6ix9ine's enemies seeking retaliation against him. This narrative draws heavily on 6ix9ine's well-documented history as a former 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods member who testified against the gang in 2019, earning him the snitch label that has followed him ever since. 6ix9ine's own words about this situation provide crucial context. He continues his comparison to fallen rappers by making an even more controversial point.
He's dead. But what's the point, though?
All right then. So King Born is a solid, and he got killed, right? Then pulled out and put 5 in him, right? And he dead, right? So King Born died lacking.
You hurt my feelings.
No. Hear what I'm saying?
May he rest in peace,
King
man.
Born died lacking. Nipsey died lacking. Pop Smoke died lacking.
Right.
Can't lack.
No, you can't.
All right.
Kill or be killed in these streets.
This brutal assessment of how solid street figures still ended up dead reveals 6ix9ine's belief that traditional street credibility is worthless if it gets you murdered. Now, some speculate that the shooting was meant for 6ix9ine but hit Ariela instead, with rumors suggesting street ties or gang vendettas linked to his past. This theory gains weight when we consider the emotional Instagram tribute that 6ix9ine posted following her death, where he called her his sister despite rumored romantic involvement. The timing and intensity of these tributes have led some observers to speculate that he was dealing with guilt over potentially putting her in danger through their association. While this theory has continued to gain traction, it still faces significant scrutiny. Given 6ix9ine's legal restrictions in 2025, including house arrest and electronic monitoring, his presence in New York would have been unlikely without violating his probation terms. This discrepancy has led to questions about whether he was actually with Ariela at the time of her death, or whether the attack was symbolic, targeting someone close to him as a message. A third theory that has emerged from social media speculation centers on the idea that Ariela was killed for providing information to authorities about criminal activities. This informant narrative draws parallels to 6ix9ine's own cooperating witness status and suggests that Ariela may have been involved in providing information to law enforcement about criminal activities in her orbit. The idea that Ariela might have been cooperating with the feds gains some credibility when we examine 6ix9ine's own attitude toward law enforcement cooperation. In the footage we've analyzed, he makes it clear that he views such cooperation as a survival mechanism rather than a moral failing. Who knows? Maybe his influence on those close to him could have encouraged similar behavior. While this narrative lacks substantial evidence from official sources, it still gives credit to the kind of street justice that has historically been associated with cases.
I'm trying to hear the evidence though, like the hard evidence. Like, was 6ix9ine in the car? Don't think he was. They're saying that the bullets were meant for him. To look at someone in their face and shoot them multiple times and say that they were meant for someone else, I think that's highly unlikely. But it seems as if they're going to bring up another theory. I'm assuming the last theory is going to be like the most credible one.
Involving perceived betrayal of criminal organizations. Some observers have linked Ariela's death to the general wave of gang-related violence that has plagued New York City, possibly connecting it to a Brooklyn nightclub shooting that occurred around the same time. The NYPD commissioner confirmed that the Brooklyn shooting involved 4 shooters, 42 shell casings, and had gang ties, with Mayor Adams deploying crisis teams to prevent retaliation. While there's no confirmed connection between this incident and Ariela's death, the timing and context have led some to speculate about broader patterns of violence that may have intersected with her personal circumstances.
I respect gangsters, bro. But you gonna see me, you gonna respect me.
Hold on, let me break something down to you, right?
I don't even mean to change the mood, but 6ix9ine, we all know about the perception.
This acknowledgement of the perception problem 6ix9ine faces in street circles helps explain why targeting someone close to him might be seen as an effective way to send a message without directly confronting someone who is heavily monitored by federal authorities. What makes this case particularly challenging to understand is the way that speculation has filled the void left by official silence. Authorities have not released detailed information about the number of shots fired, the exact sequence of events, or forensic findings. This absence of official information has created a perfect storm for conspiracy theories, unverified claims, and competing narratives to flourish. So what really went down? Let's dig deeper, homies. The investigation, hood politics, and what really went down. As we dig deeper into the investigation surrounding Ariela La Langosta's death, the official narrative becomes increasingly at odds with the speculation that has dominated social media and hip-hop blogs. What we now see is a picture of law enforcement agencies struggling to manage a high-profile case while dealing with the unique challenges posed by 6ix9ine's controversial status and the intense public interest in anything connected to him. The complexity of this case becomes even clearer when we examine 6ix9ine's own analysis of how street conflicts actually play out in real life. In particularly revealing footage, he provides a detailed breakdown of why traditional gangster behavior often leads to death rather than respect.
Yo, bro, I'm gonna be honest. Alpo, we gonna get on Alpo. Yo, shout out my girl, baby. I love you. Listen, I gotta talk about it. I gotta bring it up. I'm sorry if I put, but I'm about to fire Harlem up. My girl's baby father, Charlie C, is a Mac Bull of blood. Okay, what that mean? He's a Mac Bull of blood that Jack kill all rats. The Mac Bull Jack kill all rats.
This revelation about Alpo Martinez being at 6ix9ine's baby shower before his death demonstrates the complex relationships that exist in this world. Relationships where cooperation with law enforcement doesn't necessarily end social connections, but can create deadly contradictions. The investigation into Ariela's death is being conducted by both the NYPD and Westchester County Police, who are treating it as a suspicious homicide. Westchester County Police Chief James Luciano has indicated that investigators believe the shooting was connected to criminal activity, though specifics have not been disclosed. This official acknowledgement that the case involves criminal activity lends credence to theories about targeted violence rather than random street crime. Now, what's particularly striking about this investigation is what hasn't been revealed. No arrests or suspects have been publicly identified as of August 18th, 2025, and the motive remains unclear. For a case that has generated this level of public interest and media coverage, the lack of official progress raises questions about whether investigators are being unusually cautious or whether they're facing obstacles that aren't being publicly acknowledged. To start with, the circumstances of the discovery add a layer of mystery to the case. Ariela was found slumped around 8 a.m. inside a vehicle on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon, New York. Multiple sources report she sustained a gunshot wound to the head, although the specific details about the number of shots fired, the type of weapon used, and the exact sequence of events remain undisclosed. What makes this particularly puzzling is the location itself. The Cross County Parkway is a major thoroughfare that connects the Bronx to Westchester County, and it's also heavily trafficked and monitored. For a shooting to occur in such a location without immediate witnesses or surveillance footage being available suggests either a very brief encounter or a level of planning that involved knowing when and where surveillance might be limited. One of the most significant developments in understanding this case comes from examining 6ix9ine's actual movements and capabilities on the day in question. Despite widespread speculation that he was with Ariela at the time of her death, his legal restrictions in 2025, including house arrest and electronic monitoring, make his presence in New York unlikely without detection. This discrepancy between speculation and legal reality forces us us to reconsider many of the theories that have dominated the discussion of this case. If 6ix9ine wasn't physically present, then theories about him being the intended target become more complex, because they would require either a symbolic attack designed to send a message, or a case of mistaken identity where the shooters believed he would be present. Another aspect of this case that has received less attention but may be equally important is the pattern of violence and threats that have surrounded 6ix9ine since his cooperation with federal authorities. The fake casket delivered to his Florida crib in February 2025, bearing the name of rival King Von, proves that threats against him have been ongoing and creative. The deeper we dive into 6ix9ine's mindset about street credibility and survival, the clearer it becomes why someone might target those close to him. His final thoughts on the Alpo situation are particularly revealing.
Oh, Harlem, don't hide and be like, I wasn't at that baby shower. If I would have seen, I was at that baby shower drinking rosé.
I ain't gonna even lie.
Oh,
Also,
listen.
let me get spicy real quick. See, my whole thing is like this, man. On some real, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, Jim Jones, but you keep shouting Mel and shouting them out.
This confrontational approach to calling out perceived hypocrisy in the hip-hop community demonstrates why 6ix9ine has made so many enemies. His willingness to expose contradictions and challenge street credibility makes him a target, and by extension makes anyone close to him vulnerable to retaliation. This context suggests that even if 6ix9ine wasn't physically present during Ariela's death, his association with her could have made her a target for those seeking to harm him indirectly. This type of proxy violence, attacking associates rather than primary targets, has become increasingly common in contemporary street conflicts, particularly when primary targets are well protected or difficult to reach. A commentary from the No Jumper host provides insight into how the hip-hop community views 6ix9ine's cooperation patterns and what it might mean for those around him.
You know what I mean? Because now it's just putting you back in the spotlight and it's telling again. You know what I mean? Like it just won't stop. What's next?
Now I don't with 6ix9ine whatsoever, but domestic violence, you know why? Domestic violence is domestic violence.
This observation about how 6ix9ine's cooperation puts him back in the spotlight for
Dang, do I think, I don't know, I feel like the probabilities of someone like shooting her in the head like that to indirectly harm 6ix9ine, like that's like it's not a good move. I don't think 6ix9ine is really feeling harmed like that. Like if they really want, I feel like if someone really wanted to get to 6ix9ine, they would really try to get to 6ix9ine. It could have easily been some beef of her own. It could have easily been some people she was associated with. It could have been something with 6ix9ine. You know what I'm saying? There's still a probability of that, but I'm not fully convinced on that theory in itself. I feel like there's definitely more to it than just that being 6ix9ine's girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like 6ix9ine has had probably hundreds and thousands of girls in his life. It's not like this one right here meant the absolute most to him in the entire world and they're trying to have him like become depressed and shit. I don't view it that way. Maybe it could be like a warning shot to 6ix9ine if we're gonna follow up with that theory, or it could have literally just been a whole entire situation of her own, because she is a part of the nightlife. Like you said, nightlife gets interesting when you when you get associated with a lot of gang members, scammers, all this. You know what I'm saying? So comment down below your thoughts. Rest in peace to her, because that's really sad. Like, forgetting all the conspiracy theories and the drama, like, she's still a young woman. Very, very sad and unfortunate. That is a crazy way to pass. So prayers go out to her. I hope she's resting in peace.